So I thought I would talk to you today about what's known as Khrushchyovka, which is named after Nikita Khrushchev, um, who was a Soviet leader back in the 50s, 60s. And he created this initiative for quick, cheap housing, which went up all over the Soviet Union. Of course, today we're in Riga, Latvia, the capital, and I'll just pan out here. I'm standing out on a balcony, um, and I'll show you some of these Khrushchevka style apartment buildings. So as you can see, I'm where I'm standing. I'm surrounded by them. I'm inside of one of them, and basically these, were the product of a vast expansion that was going on in the Soviet Union. And so there was construction going on throughout the various countries which had become part of that monolithic Soviet Union. Let me just zoom in here. As you can see, they're constructed of large concrete prefabricated pieces which were then put together on site. So beauty in architecture was not the aim. Creating something that was very low cost and could be put together very quickly. Some of these facades, from what I understand, could be put up basically without the finishing touches. They could be put up in as little as 2 weeks. And they were never meant to be permanent housing. This was always supposed to be something temporary, something that was maybe supposed to last 20 years. And then, Khrushchev was planning another initiative to expand and get rid of these and create, housing that would really display the glory of the Soviet Union, which, that became an empty promise, as we all know. And these are still standing today. People are still living in them. I'm going to give you a shot now down of the parking lot. So we're looking at a parking lot that basically is in the middle of, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 apartment buildings. And at the times these were built in the 50s and 60s, cars were considered a luxury. So it wasn't really factored in to have adequate parking that's necessary today. So parking is definitely a problem in the apartment buildings in Riga. I'm here during working hours, so most of the cars are gone, and you can still see that it's almost half full, even while most people are at work. So yeah, these are still mostly occupied today. I'll zoom in here again, so you can see even off into the distance. These things, they're quite prolific. And I would say, from asking around, at least 60% of the people still live in these apartments that were supposed to last 20 years at most, and now we're 50, 60 years later, and they're still completely occupied, most of them. Some of them have been completely abandoned. I don't know how many of them are slated to be torn down